Dead Stripper, Chapter 6. Scene 21. Two more backup officers arrive and start sealing the apartment with yellow crime scene tape. The lead officer contacts the county's Criminal Investigation Division, CID for short. "We found a white female," he tells the dispatcher, "dead at the Media Station Apartments, inside apartment 201. Looks like a drug overdose." The dispatcher relays the message to the medical examiner, to operations, and to forensics. A medical examiner, two detectives, and two evidence technicians are soon en route to the complex. Scene 22. A man carrying a medical valise arrives first. Dr. Kenneth Nakamura, 53, the county medical examiner. He climbs the interior stairway at a brisk pace and soon reaches the landing on the second floor. He opens a fire door and sees yellow tape crisscrossing the open doorway of apartment 201. Two uniformed officers are standing on the other side of the tape. The lead officer sees him coming. "No need to rush, Doc. She's dead." "Then I guess I'm not needed here." "Good one, Doc." The officer separates the strands of tape to make it easier for him to enter. Dr. Nakamura ducks under the tape. "Where is the individual in question?" "I called it in as an accidental OD," the officer says. "I will keep that in mind, but things are not always as they seem. Which way, please?" "This way, Doc." The officer leads him down the hallway, stops outside the bathroom door, then steps aside. Dr. Nakamura stops at the marble threshold and looks inside the bathroom. He sets his valise on the floor, opens it, and takes out a camera. He snaps a couple shots. Then, being careful not to disturb anything, he steps inside the bathroom, approaches the bathtub, and stops. He snaps pictures from 9 angles. Then he places the camera back inside the valise and removes a voice recorder. "Victim appears to be a white female," he begins. "Body in prone position inside bathtub. Appears to be nude, head somewhat elevated, above surface of bath water. Body submerged beneath the bathwater. Quantity of bubbles floating on surface. Obscuring bulk of body beneath surface. Approximate age appears to be within 2 years of 24. He takes a pair of rubber gloves out of his valise and puts them on. He steps toward the body, presses his fingers against the victim's carotid artery, and holds that position for several seconds. Victim dead at scene. Time of death appears to be 12 to 18 hours prior to discovery of body. He sticks a thermometer in the water. Observe dangling earrings, gold, both ears. Also observe heart-shaped necklace, gold, around victim's neck. He removes the thermometer from the water and looks at it. Water temperature, 68 degrees. Then his eyes go right to the vanity. Observe small mirror on vanity next to sink. Said mirror rectangular in shape. Approximately 4 inches by 6 inches. Observe powdery white residue on surface of mirror. Also observe one razor blade, single edge, next to said mirror. He retrieves the camera and snaps several pictures of the vanity. Then he steps closer. Observe one small plastic baggie next to said mirror, approximately 2 inches by 3 inches. Also observe similar white powdery residue inside baggie. Then he pauses the recorder. "Like I said, Doc," the officer says, "accidental OD." When you find drug paraphernalia in close proximity to the victim, for sure, 99 times out of 100, you are looking at a drug overdose. So your impulse is probably correct. But what do you make of the fact that this poor soul is still wearing her jewelry? "To tell the truth, Doc," the officer responds, "I can't see any jewelry from where I'm standing." "I see." Dr. Nakamura goes back to his valise and removes a pair of tweezers. He uses the tweezers to lift the baggie carefully and high enough to get a good look at the reverse side of the baggie. Then he snaps a couple pictures of the baggie. Scene 23. Detectives Pam Bishop and Gary Gerber arrive at the scene. They both appear to be in their early 30s. Detective Bishop is brunette, shapely, and moderately attractive. Detective Gerber is medium height, average build, and sporting a few days of uneven stubble. One of the backup officers escorts them down the hall to the bathroom. There, they encounter Dr. Nakamura, who's still assessing the scene. Notice anything, Pam? Dr. Nakamura asks. Other than the drug paraphernalia on the vanity? We'll get back to that momentarily. Dr. Nakamura smiles. Yes, but other than that, do you notice anything out of the ordinary? Exercising caution, she steps inside the bathroom, then looks at the body in the bathtub. She's still wearing her earrings and necklace. Very observant, Dr. Nakamura says. Now, as the only female present, when you take a bath, assuming you take baths and not showers, do you wear your jewelry or do you remove it? Makes no difference, she says. Everything comes off. Unless I'm in a hurry. Then I might leave my earrings in, but not dangling ones like those. As I thought, Dr. Nakamura steps toward the vanity. Now take a look at this and tell me what you think. He uses the tweezers to lift the baggie, then flips the baggie over to reveal Uber stamped in black on the reverse side. First time I ever saw that, she remarks. Detective Gerber, Dr. Nakamura says, can you see this from where you're standing? I can, Detective Gerber says. Me too. Never saw a baggie stamped with the Uber trademark before. Then we're all in agreement. Dr. Nakamura carefully returns the baggie to the way he found it. Now give me your impressions of the residue. Detective Bishop steps closer to the vanity. Looks like coke or heroin. My impression as well, he says. I'm leaning toward heroin, she says, but the color looks a touch off. Two evidence technicians appear outside the door. Gentlemen, Dr. Nakamura greets them, just give us a few more seconds, then she's all yours. Detective Bishop exits the bathroom. Dr. Nakamura pauses to take one last look around the bathroom. Then he gathers his equipment and steps outside. All yours, he tells the evidence techs. Dr. Nakamura and the two detectives start walking up the hallway. Gary, Detective Bishop says, check out the living room. I'll take the bedroom as soon as I get back. Where are you going? Detective Gerber asks. Downstairs. I want to talk to those two women outside, see if they can provide something of value. I'll walk out with you, Dr. Nakamura says. They start walking. So, Ken, she says, how are you going to handle this? At least for now, I'm going to write it up as an apparent drug overdose, accidental. Other than the jewelry, which may or may not be meaningful, I don't see anything to contradict that assumption. Scene 24. Dr. Nakamura and Detective Bishop exit the apartment building, then go separate ways. Dr. Nakamura walks toward his station wagon, and Detective Bishop heads toward the red Camaro. The two dancers are standing behind the Camaro, accompanied by one of the backup officers. Detective Bishop displays her badge. I'm Detective Bishop, the Delaware County CID. The dancers nod. I regret to inform you, she says, that Miss Forsyth is deceased. Pretty much what we figured, Farrah says, when we saw the coroner's wagon show up. How are you two acquainted with the deceased? We work together, Farrah answers. Where? Babes in Toyland, Farrah says, on Columbus Boulevard. I see. Detective Bishop produces a small notebook. She opens it, then asks for names and contact information. She jots it all down, then asks, how is it you came here today? She didn't show up for a shift, Farrah says. We tried calling and texting, but she didn't answer. She never misses work, and she's never late. So our manager sent us to check on her. What's your manager's name? Sam, Farrah replies. Sam Cohen. Detective Bishop jots his name in her notebook. When was the last time either one of you saw her? Last night at the club, Farrah says. Detective Bishop looks at Candy. Same, Candy says. Do you have any idea how she left work? Detective Bishop asks. Or who she left with? Neither dancer knows. So, that's it for Chapter 6. Next up, Chapter 7.